Welcome home, Raiders. Tonight, a couple of top guilds take a break. Legendary drop rates confirmed, PvP brawls come to WoW, and so much more. We've got a lot of stuff on the plate as Convert to Raid presents the Battlenet News. It's good to be back after a couple of weeks off from the Battlenet News broadcast bunker in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Today is February 21st, 2017, and it is now 10:11 in the p.m. Central Time, right on time as always. I like we have the standard of always being exactly on time. Thanks for joining us from around the Blizzard universe. My name is Pat Crane. I'm your host of the show. And as always, the players are here. Let's go to, he is an adult with a job. And he is an Ermagerd offensive dude. It's Sharku.
It's 11:11. Make a wish.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever
No,
do
not
that?
here. Not here.
Sharku wasn't on this podcast.
It's totally not here.
Say that.
So
What?
sorry. You lose.
Can you
All right.
not wait? What's happening?
Nothing.
Did I get kicked from the show?
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. All right, but let's go to, he is a Lord of the Storm, and he is also in 11:11 time. It is Gizmo. Hey.
It's 11:12 now. Sharku reigned it, but it's good to be back. Took a week off last week for Valentine's Day. I had a nice romantic evening, drinking some wine and playing some video games.
Nice.
Good time. Glad to be back.
Good. Nice work. That's kind of why we couldn't do a show last week, because it was Valentine's Day. I didn't want to, impede on your nights.
I can't think of a more romantic night than sitting down with your significant other and watching some Convert to Raid.
Right. That's pretty good. Don't get me wrong. Let's also go to he has the Payload podcast and also Met podcast over at blizzpro.com. It's John Horstmann.
Hey, Pat. Good to be here.
And intern to the stars. How's that?
The stars, great. What is an intern to the stars? Gravity?
That's you.
Gravity, I guess.
That's you, buddy.
The intern to the stars.
I like how
I don't know.
I don't know.
Searching for an astronomy term like gravity, science.
Gravity, and I honestly just went straight to interstellar terms. I was like, Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, Matthew McConaughey.
Gravity. So good.
All right.
It's time to.
Such a good movie.
It's a different movie. That's not the same one.
Pretty good, Giz. All right. Well, welcome, fellas, and welcome everybody out there, wherever you are, and thanks for joining us. Let's do what we normally do, which is kind of go around the room and see what's going on in the different games that we play. And Shark, what has been going? Now, you raided last week. I wasn't able to raid last week. Right?
Yes, I did. I raided with the Ermagerd Furniture.
Yeah.
And is that how we pronounce it?
I don't.
Nope.
I don't know. Probably not. Ermagerd offensive. Yeah.
Absolutely not. That's just offensive.
Sure.
offensive.
But how do we do?
We did okay. We're still struggling on. We have developed an issue with our damage. We're a little bit low.
Our deeps.
And yep. So, but we're a casual team. We want everybody to come and play and have fun. So it's just sometimes that can happen where we can get kind of complacent, I think, in what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That can definitely happen. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we have kind of we don't have many people on our team. We try to keep our membership low.
Right.
So there's
I think we're going to have to, I think we might have to recruit at some point.
Maybe,
just
I don't
like
know.
a couple of people, just like
I'm not opposed to it.
Two or three people.
as soon as you said that, we're going to get like 60 people that listen to the show like right now.
We always have like, we're always like missing some support player or something like that, and our damage is a little low. So maybe.
P.S. Shark, if you don't have the attendance boss to blame, though, who are you going to blame?
Well, it's not the attendance bot. It's just that everybody's individual input is more important when you have lower numbers on the team.
Yeah.
So mistakes are more glaring.
Yeah.
And I think that's, but I mean, we did really well. I don't think we downed any new bosses. We worked on Ellison and got her like 5% repeatedly. And it was just, now we have we realized we have 2 DPS walls to go over in the Spellblade and not Ellison, but Star Augur.
Oh, yeah.
Star Augur is who we couldn't get down because it's a DPS race in phase 3. And, some people were up in Navarre is always in like the 600s.
Yeah.
And the other people were, the 350 range is kind of the average of the high end, but there were some people that were a bit lower than that. So we gotta get that up. But anyway, no, we're doing good.
We'll get there.
We did get a lot of new pulls on a new boss, but P.S. Just want to put out there, all of you in World of Warcraft land, if you can dual spec, if you can heal and DPS or DPS and tank, that's so useful for a raid team. It's so well. We're learning that on the team.
It really is. I'm
actually. You're playing around with DPS.
I'm actually messing around with tanking now because we seem
because I always complain when I have to tank.
Well, everybody does. Everybody does. Why do I have to tank? I'm like I don't care. I can handle some boss crouch every once in a while and whatever. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
But yeah, we at least on our team we found it really useful because we have like 3 people that only heal, but every other week somebody's got to miss for whatever thing. We're missing both of our healers because you guys are going to Florida.
I know we're going to Florida
for a conference.
I'm going to Florida. Hey, but for that, I'm gonna give myself a big applause because that's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
But there you go. There's your Azeroth PSA for all you raiders out there.
Right.
Roll a second spec. Help your team out.
Absolutely. Hey, just before we get on to the other guys here, as long as we brought it up, I am going to be in Orlando this week with Jewel Scott, and we're there for a conference. We're there for the Podfest 2017 and stuff like that. But we will be having a little meet and greet. If you follow me on Twitter at Pat Crane, that's Crane with a K. You can figure out where we're at, but it's going to be this Saturday, the 25th, I think, starting at 5:00 at the Cloak and Blaster. I don't know where it is. I don't know what it is.
Is that the Star Wars bar?
I have no idea.
Because I know Garrett Weinzierl, who does like Angry Chicken and Into the Nexus.
I know
they were just at a bar in Orlando, and I believe it was called the Cloak and Blaster.
Blaster, yes,
not Plaster.
No, not
Blaster.
I may be
the Cloak and Plastered. That's what they should have named it.
The Cloak.
I may be plastered at the Cloak and Blaster.
Yeah.
But that's this Saturday at 5, and if you can, feel free to stop by and say hi. I'd love to see you guys. But that should be a lot of fun. And it's mostly a business trip, but, got to take a break and see who's out there. And one of the guys that won't be there is Gizmo. Even though you live in the area, you live kind of in the area.
I do. I'll get to why I won't be there a little bit later on in some news here. But it's a shame I won't be there because literally I have spent over this last year over a month of the year, not only in Orlando, but in Disney World. Oh. So it's like...
Oh. Man,
you had almost a 10% chance of. That's way off. That was way off. But that is.
Oh boy, we're losing
that's some
them.
Podcast math for you. Some live podcast math.
Right. Fake news. That's
a fairly
what it
good
is.
chance of seeing me down there, and I can't make it. I wish I could. I really do.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. No worries. Don't worry about it. Choji on the video. Wow. If you want to see a giant puppy, just watch the video. Choji just
94 pounds today, Pat.
Jeez, holy moly!
It's a big dog.
Hey Giz, so what's been going on in gaming? Let's get off of that stuff. Let's get back to the show part of the show.
Yes. So, of course, been spending a lot of time in the Nexus with some heroes, but also I have made it my goal, and I am trying so hard to get everything caught up here for to get back on track to unlock flying, because that is something I have not done anytime there were requirements in past expansions, because I haven't liked the grindiness. But I think that this expansion was kind of built differently to where at just playing through and doing the grind to gear up and stuff kind of helped out with it. So I'm trying to stay on top of it, as well as still leveling my little gnome warlock. So trying to get him up there to get him into some in-game stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. Let me move the shot over. And John Horstmann, what is going on with your gaming life right now? What are you working on?
I discovered a new game.
Uh-oh.
This is great. It's a small, independent, effort. Some lesser known people in the gaming world. Overwatch.
Oh,
I believe is what
I
it's
heard
called.
Of that one.
Yeah. And it's I discovered it, and I put in just under, I think, 80 hours last week.
Whoa.
In Overwatch.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dipstick.
Oh.
Yeah, dipstick.
There we go.
That was rude.
Sorry. That wasn't me.
But yeah, so it's that's been a lot of fun for me.
Good.
For whatever reason, I've had a kick to be good at a video game again. And so on top of getting rank 5 in Hearthstone, which I do every month, doing all my dailies in Overwatch, usually clearing normal and most of heroic Nighthold. The rest of my time has been playing Overwatch. And it's been fun. It's been fun for me.
Very cool.
Still haven't 1v1 me. I've been waiting for you.
Oh, I did. I already won, but you didn't even wake up. I was so fast.
Wow.
That came out way wrong.
It really did. So we'll move on. So a couple of things that I want to hit up before we actually get into the news part of the show. And one was the Orlando meetup, which is happening on Saturday. Another one is that we still have shirts and stuff on the store at our website, which is convertraid.com. Make sure to pick up a shirt and support the show and in every single way. Wear it and support us. Yeah. And this one is not really news anymore, but I want to bring it up because it was a couple of weeks ago that this came out. And it's the Facebook friends and suggested friends on the Battle.net app on the launcher and stuff like that.
That wasn't me growling. Sorry.
Well,
that was growling.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm done.
All right.
We can just edit that out.
That was about
just edit that out. That will not be there.
I just ruined the podcast.
So, I don't know what your thoughts are on the whole Facebook friends and stuff like that. The one thing that I'm glad about, so with the new Battlenet launcher and stuff like that, you can actually turn off your real ID if you wish, which is good.
Yay.
And you can also get suggested friends, which is good. I think for those guys that are looking for more friends, hey, it's actually kind of nice. But I don't know, Facebook friends.
Yes.
Do we do Facebook friends for video games, or is that still just family?
I accept every Farmville invite that I get.
Right.
It's one of the best ways to grow my tomatoes.
Hey, it's Farmville 2 now is out.
Oh shoot, I'm way behind.
Yeah, catch up, bro.
I'm a solid 1 behind. Yes.
No wonder why I'm top 50 world in Farmville 1.
Oh boy.
We're not talking about Pandaria either.
No. So, any other thoughts on that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's annoying.
So now that we've gotten the good things about it out of the way, I have a couple issues here. If they are going to do this, it can potentially be good. First off, they need to get rid of the maximum friend cap, or F250, I think it is now.
Yeah.
because that opens the door to just a ton of invites with suggested friends. It seems like each time I log on now, there's like 4 or 5 new people. It is cool because, while we've mentioned before, Facebook isn't really where I go for my gaming social media. That's stuck to Twitter. I have found people that, I went to high school with, college with, and stuff that I didn't even know played Blizzard games. I also don't know how long it's been since they played a Blizzard game. So it could, be a 3-year-old account that they haven't been on, and I can send them an invite.
Right.
Also, with expanding, past the 250, if they did that, they need to make it where you can organize groups of friends to make it just easier to see who all's online, because, of course, the more friends you have, the harder it is to get through them. This is mainly an issue, and I don't know if everyone out there has maxed their friend cap. I'm sure some people have, but through podcasting and kind of being a figure in the game you do a podcasting of,
diva.
It feels really it feels bad because people want to add you to play games all the time. This is especially big in the Heroes community because everyone's really close, and I feel bad when I can't. Hey, add me as a friend. Oh, I can't. Or I get on and somebody's like, hey, I sent you a friend request. I don't even see those when my friend list is full that I got an invite. So it's just kind of a mess and opens up a door to new things, but hopefully they'll get it sorted out.
And for, the guys that are in the CTR guild over on Airy Peak, those guys, we have a pretty big guild of folks, and we get a lot of friend requests and stuff like that. And it's great. It's awesome. But at the same time, yes, you do end up hitting the cap at some point. So it would be nice to kind of.
Do you think that Mike Morhaime and Mark Zuckerberg have each other's phone numbers and are just texting like
They're
sweet
besties. They're total
little
besties.
love texts or something? Because we're getting a lot of Facebook stuff.
We are
with Blizzard in general. I would just say quite a few recent live blogs and things for Warcraft, Hearthstone, and Overwatch have all been done on Facebook Live. We now have this new Friends feature. We obviously have the stream straight to Facebook Live button that I think at least 4 or 5 people have used. And it's
three of them were paid to do it.
I get it. Facebook is a big deal, and there's a lot of engagement there, and the numbers from Facebook Live are huge. But I don't think that people have quite figured out how people like to compartmentalize their social media. Gizmo, you already said it, right? Like Twitter, that's where I go. That's my gaming personality. That's my persona. That's my public persona. Facebook is where I rant about politics and religion and all that stuff. And it's private, and I will. Anyways,
maybe we're seeing feel more private. Yeah,
we're seeing the same thing in the chat room. Sith Kitty, Marissa, these guys are talking about how Facebook is not really for your gamer friends, or at least for their gamer friends. However, I do think that there's something to be said about the choice of going onto Facebook as being a very large place to connect with other people. And I think I don't know for sure, but my guess is because it's not another social media and because it's Facebook, maybe they're going for a more casual approach to things. I don't know, like trying to appeal to either not super gamers or anything like that. They're trying to appeal to like those. It's kind of like a I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a gateway drug, right? I mean, it's kind of like a gateway thing. So you go in and you're like, oh, somebody's playing WoW. I haven't seen that in a long time, or I'm used to playing this other game and on my phone, and maybe I'll give it a shot. I don't know.
Well, I think Sorry, Gizmo, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead. You first.
So I was just gonna say, and this, while Facebook may not be the social area for gamers right now, maybe it could be someday. Who knows? Maybe they're working in that direction. They're just laying like the base for that right now. But I will give Facebook two things that it has over Twitter. One, it doesn't have a 140 character limit, and two, I can edit my posts after I post them.
Yes, oh my God, that's so annoying.
Because on Twitter, I'm on my phone all the time. I'm a terrible phone texter, and all my tweets make me sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
Wow. 3, it has pirate as a language. So 3 things.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
That it has.
I want to just real quickly, because I talk about how stupid Facebook is all the time, but it reminds me a little bit of when I was in college back in a world before the World of Warcraft. Like one of the most fun things I can remember in my gaming life was when Halo 2 came out, and my college just had like a network put in to where everybody in the college was on the same network. I was at a very small school, but I remember us all getting online, and everybody in the college, without paying for Xbox Live or anything, just got on and played network games with everyone else in the college and screaming down the hall at people for losing or winning or whatever. I'm thinking if you're in that experience and you're playing Blizzard games, and especially if you're at a big school and all of a sudden you're like, oh, here's some people that go to my college that I randomly had on Facebook because we were in a class together or something. Oh, they play Here's the Storm like all the time. I love that game. Like it seems like a cool way to make communities in that way. So I don't know. It does seem weird to me. I'm not going to lie that Facebook just doesn't seem like that kind of medium. But at the same time, I mean, it can either be good or not work.
Sure.
Like it's not going to make anybody's life work or worse. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And that's
so
that's why starting next week we're going to be broadcasting on Facebook Live.
On Facebook Live, yeah. There we go.
All right.
Facebook.com/P83944417/convert to raid.
No. Well, we'll figure it out. All right. Let's get on to the actual news. It's the news. Hey, I just wanted to bring this up real quick because I know that this was a couple of weeks ago as well. The Activision Blizzard Earnings report was not last week, but the week before. And I just want to bring up this one thing because it was really cool. World of Warcraft time spent grew, surpassing Legion's launch quarter and all non-launch quarters in the last 4 years. It may sound like like it's kind of like a weird talk or whatever, but this means that over all non-launch quarters, and including when Legion launched, more time was spent playing WoW. Yeah! And I think that deserves a round of applause.
It means the game's on an uptick. Yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah,
and
we're back.
Exactly.
It makes sense because the game is really, really fun to play right now.
It is.
It has more things keeping people engaged rather than playing for one raid tier, downing all the bosses on normal and being like, well, I'm done.
Yep.
So, it's interesting. I you know what? My hypothesis is Mythic plus Dungeons.
I think it's a lot.
That's what I think
did
it.
I think it's
a lot of things, but I think that might have been the biggest contributing factor.
I think between
that's
World
keeping
Quest and
people
Mythic
more
Plus,
and more engaged.
Double jump demon hunters. Double jump demon hunters.
Okay, and demon hunters.
That's
sure.
all it took. Literally just create a rogue that can tank and jump twice. Done.
And fly.
Right.
I don't understand World Quest. World Quest is just a daily hub on an island. That's all World Quests are.
See, now I actually like the World Quests because there are so many of them. You can go around and choose them.
There are better rewards for them.
You can pick your own adventures. You can go find your own rewards, the ones that make sense for you. And that just reminded me that I still have Nightfall and Quest to do. Thanks.
So here's the thing. I've really struggled with World Quest over the last month. I am very much a completionist. And I'm like, if I'm not going to finish them all and sit down for 4 hours, is it even worth sitting down and doing
I don't even want to start. Yeah.
Yes. And while the obvious And the very wise answer is yes, it is still worth it to do that. Do your emissary quest for the day, at least. Still, I'm like, yeah, but I don't like having just like 3 little icons next to my world quest tracker. It's just it drives me nuts, and like 60% of them are pet battle ones now too. And oh my god,
the pet battle ones drive me nuts because I go up there and I'm like going, all right, I see it on the thing and I don't know what the title says, whatever. I just go over there and I'm like, oh, it's a pet battle.
That and I've never like I'm so bad at it.
If I have one, if people go, John, what was the worst thing about Legion? I will tell you right now, it is when you fly across the continent to do a world quest. And it's a pet battle quest.
Yeah.
That is the worst thing that has ever happened in World of Warcraft.
Right.
There's an icon next to it that shows it's a pet battle quest. At least if you have maybe it's just
I'm not. It might be one of your add-ons, but I am not known for, number one, reading quest text or looking at icons. I don't really, like I'll jump in and it'll be like a world boss and I'll go, yeah, I can take him. And it's just me by myself. Nope, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's true. But I mean, that does really spell some good news and I think that the WoW team really does deserve a lot of credit on Legion. It's been a lot of fun, and it continues to be fun, which is cool. And I know that there's a bunch of stuff coming up in 7.2, and we'll get to more and more of that as it kind of gets built on the PTR. We're going to talk about it a little bit tonight, actually. But yeah, I mean, I think that's just, hats off to the WoW team for making a really great expansion.
I love how the news was that they had a great earnings report, and then we spent that whole section just shitting on World Quest.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, Blizz. You guys are great.
I love World Quest.
You're great.
Just
it happens.
Don't make pet battle ones.
Right. It is a great expansion though, and I haven't had this much fun playing the game in a while.
However, there is a downside for all that stuff going on, and we've been talking about it, off and on throughout the expansion. Was that we do see some raid teams dropping by the wayside, and that's happened again. This over the last since the last show anyway. Midwinter has declared that they are ending progression rating. From Scratch announces that they will not race to the world first in Tomb of Sargeras, and so we're seeing some of these top teams taking a break. John, what's going on with that? I mean, do you have any insight or anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely do, and the way I've thought about this, I've actually thought about this probably more than anything else that we're going to talk through for the show, because this happens after every rating tier. There's always 1, 2, 3 big raid teams that end up saying, hey, we're done forever or for now. But it's, for me, it kind of reminds me of like, Pat, we're Minnesotans.
Yeah.
Imagine if just tomorrow the Vikings are like, you know what, we're not going to do football anymore. We're releasing all of our players.
And some people would say, oh, that's a good idea, actually.
Wait, Minnesota had a team? We try to talk about that when you're Minnesotan.
Right.
But it's all those Raiders, the Raiders who still want to, keep playing, end up finding homes in new raid teams, new guilds, or existing raid teams and guilds. I don't get too worried about this stuff.
No.
But the question I've always had after every major raid tier is there something that the World of Warcraft team and community can be doing to address or reward the just the sheer sweat and tears it takes to go through for that world first thing? And I know we've talked about it on this show about ways to incentivize that. Is it an eSports level? No. But are there ways to kind of compensate for that? And I don't work now. Midwinter it's a big guild. They've been around for a long time. That's a big deal. what was the name of the guild that went from 25 man to 10 man, and then Paragon?
Yeah.
Was that it?
That's it.
Paragon did it, and hey, look at me. Yeah, young little World of Warcraft historian over here. And it's just I'm not too worried about it. I'm sad to see it. I would love for the Warcraft team to speak out if they think that there's something that they could be doing more to address that, or to simply say like, hey, the community does that world first thing. We're not so keen on that as a a team. I don't think that would be the answer, but I would rather that than no answer.
And the one thing that they do is through achievements and stuff like that, and I guess through gear as well. They at least give you some different looking stuff every once in a while, but it is one of those. And actually, with the artifacts, they've been able to do that a little bit more. I mean, especially like. When I think of that, I think of Tatva and his rave bear, his red rave bear that he's got going on, and it's stuff like that that is kind of like a cool reward, but it's not really it's cosmetic, but it's at least something, right?
It actually adds 8% to your DPS if you're a red rave bear. You heard it here first from the Shadow Priest on the Battlenet News.
There you go. Here's the problem that I see with the progression rating or the world first guys, and it's not a solvable problem because what Blizzard did with this tier is they gave us so much more to do to improve ourselves, to improve our characters. They've given us artifacts and artifacts power to collect. They've given us gear in tier and drops from Mythic Plus and drops from raids, and they've given us legendaries that randomly drop, which we'll talk about that in a minute again, I'm sure, like we always do on this show. But
I got one. We don't need to talk about it anymore. I got a legendary.
I was there when you got it. Yep. I was there when you got it.
Yeah,
which is cool.
But anyway, it's they've given us so much more to do, which is great for most players. I believe most players are happy with where it is. I love being able to run Mythic Plus dungeons to help supplement the unluck that I normally have, so I can get a good team together and they can help me with my low geared toon, not necessarily carry me 100% because I do my best, but but they can help me get better gear when I might not be able to find a higher level team that'll take me at this point because I am so undergeared, and so it's great opportunities to do that. The problem is that creates way too much for the high-end raiders to do, because if you're going to be world first, you have to do it all on multiple toons.
What I will say to you is I will call shenanigans a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand that that's kind of always the case, and we see this. And
I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying that's the way it is.
Sure, and it's always that way. It hasn't been that way for a little while, but in years past, it used to be that way. Where we'd find ourselves doing more and more stuff. I think this one has even more stuff piled on top of what you normally do, and it's outside of raid, which is the tough part. But every top tier raider knows that they have to commit to the game to be able to play it. And I think that in order to play at the top levels, you have to commit a lot. And maybe it's a little bit more this time around than it has been the last few expansions, but that's okay.
Well, I see what you're saying. I don't think it's a little bit more though. I think it's significantly more. We're asking, and in a sense, I know it's not what is actually happening.
Right.
But I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a top end world first raider.
Right.
it feels like Blizzard's saying, okay, you only had to do this much stuff to max everything that you possibly could. And there were caps. You couldn't get more than 50 victory points or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it all comes down to artifact power. And I think that we've talked about that on this show before.
Yeah. And now to get everything, it takes, 20 hours a day of grinding outside of the raid time you're spending on it to do this stuff. And that's, I think, it's burnout that we're seeing. And there is no solution to that. If they're going to offer all of this stuff for the players, then the world first teams have to cram it all into 3 days before raid to get it all, it's, I don't know. But I think that is at least the culprit.
I'm kind of with Pat on this. I don't think
Greg.
it's much of the burnout, because even though there wasn't as much stuff to do in previous expansions, they were doing that on multiple tunes all the time. And we've talked about this stuff. We've hammered this stuff in several episodes.
We have.
But this is also, I think, one of the things about this. This is an old game now. A lot of these players have been doing this for a long time. I think it's kind of just getting to that point where some of these guys are just, they've been doing it for so long, they're just done doing it.
Right.
And we'll start to see the old people rotate out and some new people coming up and rotating in.
That totally happens all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yes, John. You don't have to raise your hand. Again,
I would like to approach the bench.
Just break
Good
in.
Judge.
Yes, go ahead.
No, sorry. I've learned once to never, there's a reason why they call Sharku Shark, and try interrupting him once when he's on his rant and just see what happens. So here is one of the main issues I have seen for a long time and haven't been able to put it into words with high-end rating until now. In competitive video games, I feel like oftentimes they're differentiated by one of three things: time, resources, and skill. I feel like the differentiation for a lot of players in WoW is time. You can be an amazing player. I hate to say it, Kalani, but like Kalani, dude's just a natural at video games.
Yeah.
Could he be a top tier raider? Sure. What helps him? What keeps him from being able to do that? Time.
Yeah.
And
life.
In World of Warcraft, it's in World of Warcraft, it's time that it asks you to do. In Overwatch, for example, or Hearthstone, it's skill. It's a lot of it's skill that makes that happen. And there are people where like I've got like 3,000 wins on my main account, and I'm very proud because in my time that I have spent, my skill is higher than some people that I know who have been 9,000, 10,000 wins on their account.
It's over 9,000.
It's over 9,000.
Yes.
And then with resources, it kind of reminds me, I don't have a great analogy for this one, but it reminds me of like Twitch streaming, where sometimes it's not so much how great of a person you are, how good you are at the game. It's how great you can make it look and sound to do it. It's the resources to be able to make that happen, like Pat with Battlenet News. But that's skill and time too. He's not going to sign my internship timesheet anymore. Damn it. Dang it.
Holding that over your head.
But it makes sense what you're saying.
and the thing is there a way? Is there a way for the Warcraft team to applaud skill and not time? If players are having to run 4 to 6 different weekly raids on 4 to 6 different characters to differentiate themselves, is that the sign of a healthy high-end progression game? Below that, I think it's amazing. I think we've seen the best rating that we've ever seen. But when I think of, okay, there are always going to be people who want to min-max everything. And if I'm using these filters, who I know that there are developers who listen to the show and they're like, dude, you don't even understand the first thing about game development. I know I don't. But in my mind, these are the things that make sense. If it's so dictated by time and the amount of time that people have the kind of, they have a very limited part-time job or can spend 12 hours a day doing that because they have a successful stream. Is there a way that, again, they can find a way to reward skill? I think of Mythic Plus dungeons as a way that kind of rewards skill. There is a time investment that's required, but is it the same as I'm not running multiple characters in Mythic Pluses, and I don't know of really anyone who's doing that out of necessity to be at the top end of Mythic Plus dungeon running. But is there a way that they can address that? Can they find a way to make the race for world first the most talented and skillful teams as well, and not just really talented raiders who also have a lot of time?
Well, and I think that it used to be more based on skill, or at least on coordination, or at least on somehow laying out the strats just right and performing it just right, because there wasn't necessarily as much time needed. There's always been time. MMOs are time. That's what they are. MMOs are, you invest a lot of time into the game. Mm-hmm. You invest a lot of time into your character. You invest a lot of time into building up your gear, into leveling, into exploring the story, and then hopefully getting into the end game and all that kind of stuff. That's
but should it be
MMOs.
Should it be that the guy, if you got second and the guy that got first, does it feel good to know that the reason why that guy got first is because he just had more time than you?
Well,
they rated
that's not
65 hours. And it's not. It's not. Again, we're generalizing a little bit, but I think the overall general idea is if they found a feature, if they found a way to feature skill over time,
right,
instead of a weird pseudo combination of both,
and
who would we actually see at the top?
Some of this, though, and let me just throw this at you, just real quick, and we'll probably have to drop it because I know that we've talked about this quite a bit.
We haven't even touched
over the last few different shows over the last 6 months. Let's just say. We've talked about this a lot.
John and Sharku and I have been on this show.
But exactly.
Which is a lot.
So let me just throw this at you, and that is, what was I talking about? It was, the top end raiders. They invest all this time because they think they need to max out whatever it is to a certain level. Whatever that level is, they feel like they need to maximize it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the same as what the developers think?
I don't know. And yeah.
So, I mean, it's like you can take a look at what the top end raiders do versus what the developers are actually building it for. And so,
and is it relevant? Yeah.
I mean, so maybe if you're not investing as much time, you got to have more skill. So, maybe there's a way to do it without having to invest all that time into the AP grind. But, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
So
the solution, I got it.
What?
They just have to, to fix this particular problem, and I mentioned this before. They just have to regulate the world first race. Like Blizzard will have to regulate the world first race. They don't want to do that, and I understand why they don't want to do that.
Right.
But it has to be like, okay, so we open heroic guilds or heroic raid, and the first 100 guilds to kill Gul'dan on heroic can go into the mythic race, and then they start the mythic race. Everyone has the same gear. Mm-hmm. Everyone's at the same starting level, and then they continue through the mythic race, and that way they're not going to do all this gear funneling and all the grinding and all that. They won't be able to. They're just going to, whatever tune that they killed Gul'dan on is who they're going to be able to do this. They could do something like that and solve the problem, but they're not going to.
Right. So,
well,
and maybe we should probably just
sorry. You said I was supposed to drop it.
No. We should just drop it because I know that we've talked a lot about this and we've talked it silly over the course of the last however long, and I'm sure that everybody is like, you're talking about this again. I can't believe it. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of it's what affects
convert to
raiders,
raid,
right?
It's convert to
it's
raid.
what affects raiders, and especially this top end. They're like the canary in the coal mine. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let's talk about another thing that we've talked about forever, but I'm just going to throw it to somebody who knows stuff about this. So maybe Gizmo, you could just say what's going on with the legendary drop rates.
He hasn't had a chance to talk yet.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's going on with legendary drop rates? Because there was a post recently from Ornix, one of the community managers. So what was going on?
So TLDR, they have been making several changes to legendary drop rates, and they want to just they've done some stuff in the background, and they wanted to be more open about it right now. So you have, your greatest chance to get a legendary for your first legendary, a slightly less chance to get your second, and a slightly less chance to get your third. From third on, it's the same. It stays the same. So, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, 100th, you have the same chance to get that legendary item.
Yep.
So they're hoping that'll help people get more legendaries. And then I also believe they mentioned a post about, and I don't know if this was just to do with the fact that getting legendaries should be easier to get a high number, but potentially swapping legendaries. Was that just because you have a better chance to get legendaries out now?
I'm not.
So one of their long-term goals is to allow you to switch specific legendary items in and out as the situation warrants.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just to gather more legendary items because of the increased rate to certain boss fights. Hey, this legendary is better. Hey, this boss fight, this legendary is better.
So far, I think my chance for getting a third legendary is 0, and it's nice that they've doubled it. So that's great. So thanks a lot, Liz.
That's still 0, Pat.
Oh, I'm bad at math. Burp, burp, burp. So there. So that's the legendary thing. I'm just gonna leave it at that because we talked way too much about legendary. All right.
Legendaries still suck.
A couple of things.
No, Shark. Don't make me.
We're not gonna get into it, John.
A couple of things that are coming out either now or soon. So let's talk about. I just want to briefly talk about some of these things. First of all, Wing 3 open right now. And I went through it, and we had one wipe, and that was it. And it wasn't on Croesus. We had no problems. We had no problems with the bridge boss, except for a couple of people. So
you
that was
still
good.
haven't completed Wing 2, right? I
still have not. No, because I had to leave out of town, and I was like, all right, screw this. Although I did try it again, and same thing on Star Augur. It was a nightmare situation.
50 stacks.
I spent at least 3 hours in there.
Holy cow.
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
LFR apparently does not understand the word switch to the big ad.
Right.
That's really all you got to do.
So there, maybe this week I'll be able to. Actually, I won't be able to do it because I'll be in Florida. Another thing is that, let's see, WoW Chronicles Volume 2 is coming out March 14th, and for that, I am definitely giving one of these.
Yes.
And you're buying all of the hosts a copy, right?
No.
With all your podcast money?
No. But if you took a look at Chronicles Volume 1, Chronicles Volume 2 is going to be amazing. Amazing. It's a great book to have for any WoW player.
Katie and I have been reading Volume 1 together.
Oh.
It's one of those that, she's teaching me to read.
Yep.
And that's how we're going about it. And it's been really great. We're like 4 chapters in. We started about 3 or 4 weeks ago, so we're not getting through it very fast. I'm very excited though for number 2 because this is the stuff that I've always wanted. I've always wanted to be a lore nerd. But go ahead, go to the google.com. If you haven't heard of it before, and there's a search bar, type in Warcraft lore and let me know where you think I should start because it's not easy.
No,
there's some pretty good videos out there.
There's amazing videos and resources. It's just overwhelming.
But they're like 20 minutes each talking about one specific character that you've never even interacted with in the game.
Right.
To over exaggerate it, which I am famous for doing on this show now, it's as if you're like, I want to know the history of the world.
Yeah.
So, and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go history of the world, and you're going to find 1 million books, literally 1 million books about all sorts of different. And then, the good Lord Jeff Kaplan comes up to you and he says, you know what? Actually, here's a textbook with just like the big notes, the big bits. Things you need to know.
Right.
The bits.
It's pretty great.
This is only volume 2. I love it. I love this stuff. Thank you, Blizzard, for making this easier for me to be a nerd without having to invest all the extra time in finding out how to best be that nerd.
Right. So that comes out the March 14th. So in 3 weeks or so. So that's pretty cool. I'm really liking that. And the other thing that I want to talk about briefly is PvP Brawls. Yes. Coming in 7.2. They wrote a post about it, didn't they, Gizmo?
They did. So I'm actually kind of excited for this. As we all know, Brawls have been a big thing they've been putting into all their games, which is just kind of a nice spin on all their PvP stuff, some fun game modes to get into. But they are going to be adding some in, and they gave a few examples. We have Gravity Laps, which is a resource race, an Eye of the Storm. It's a whole new enlightening experience. Because that wasn't my joke. That wasn't my joke. Don't boo me, okay?
I know it wasn't.
I thought it was great.
Okay, John. Every minute, players on Battlefield is going to get launched in the air and gently fall towards the ground in a perpetual aerial ballet.
And then you can get maybe you can get your going down achievement. If you haven't gotten it on your character. Oh, by the way, just an aside. This last week in Colorado, I actually got my going down achievement in real life. Wiping out skiing at 60 miles an hour. It was great.
Skiing.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Anyway, go ahead.
That fresh powder, though?
Oh, no.
They're also...
It hurt.
They're also bringing back the Terran Mill versus South Shore, and then Warsong Scramble, which from my understanding is capture the flag still, but you do not have to have your flag at the base, which is what makes Warsong kind of annoying. Because you get their flag, bring it to your base, now you got to go farm and find your flag to get it back.
And then everybody turtles, and it's horrible.
So you don't have to capture your flag again. It's a quicker race, and it's going to be first to capture 5 flags. So that should, even though you have to capture the flag 2 more times, I think it'll actually speed the game up quite a bit.
Yep. Cool. All right. Anything else WoW related? I think that we've covered a lot, and so I think that we should probably just move on, and we will move on with Heroes of the Storm, maybe?
I can dig that.
All right. Well, let's do Heroes of the Storm then. Now, Gizmo, also with Heroes of the Storm, since you're the Heroes of the Storm guy, kind of. I mean, you and Shark are kind of the guys. There's a crossover going on between HOTS and WoW, right?
There is. It's awesome. It is, and they just finished this kind of with Overwatch a few months ago. So it's really cool that they're doing these, now doing one for World of Warcraft. It's running from February 14th through March 13th. And you just have to play Heroes of the Storm with 15 friends.
No, 15
with 8
games.
friends 15 times.
Right.
Because you can't, have 20 people.
One
60 people on
friend 15 times or more. I mean, you could have more.
Or more. But you have to do it playing a Warcraft hero. And if you do this, you will earn a Primal Flame Saber mount in World of Warcraft, which is awesome.
It really does look cool. So the Fell Saber, what is it? The Primal Fell Saber?
Flame Saber.
It actually looks like the Demon Hunter thing, but it's all molten. And it's sweet. It's sweet.
And you'll also earn a fiery horse charger type thing in Heroes of the Storm, which isn't as cool. It's still cool. But to make this a little bit easier, they've actually extended the free hero rotation during this event, added 2 more heroes to that rotation that are Warcraft heroes. So it's really easy. If you want to do this quick, you can do it in AI beginner. You can get games over in like 3 to 5 minutes.
I do normal.
John just
I do
perked up.
normal bots. Please. Beginner bots.
Right.
I'm all about those normal bots.
Right.
Yes.
Take Sylvanas and push.
So
it's not any fun. That's not any fun, Giz.
You can get done quick, but I would definitely encourage you, if you've never played Heroes, to take this opportunity just to try it out, see if you like it.
Yeah. And get a friend, either learn together with a friend or find a friend that has been in the game for a while already, because you have to do it with friends. So it's a really good way. I agree with that. A buddy of mine was staying in my house last week, and we just every night I'd come home from work and we'd play, 5 or 6 games of Heroes, and had a blast.
Cool.
And got that thing done in a few days. So it was definitely give it a shot. And it's a pretty cool in-game mount for Heroes too. It's okay. Not just a fell saber. I like it. Well, I don't have.
It's not a golden rooster.
Thing.
It's no golden rooster.
I never got the rooster. I didn't play enough, and my team always sucked at getting because they always had it apparently already. I'm like, guys, you gotta get the firecrackers. And
Nice.
John, there's a sounder for you to record.
Right. There you go. So no, but that's pretty cool. And just remember that you have to play a Warcraft hero on that stuff. So
pick Murky.
And yeah, speaking of Murky, we've got a couple of character updates, right?
Yeah.
So
Murky.
Boy. Maybe we should talk about Murky first.
Yeah. So there's actually, well, they released 2 heroes into Nexus. Lucio is officially here, so our new support from Overwatch, and the new tank, Murky. So no, they just reworked Murky completely, and he can literally pretty much be a tank now. His talents are
awesome.
Ridiculous. He can literally by end game have, I think, about 3,700 health, which is a lot. That's like a strong assassin plus a full shield for that amount. And that's just he's a little overpowered right now.
Don't take the shield. Take the bubble.
No, for sure. But we'll expect some nerfs here. Get in there and try him because he's super fun. But he is going to get the nerf bat soon.
I got to do that because I haven't played him at all.
It's he destroys.
He's great. You get the slime stacking ability, and then all you do. I mean, you sacrifice yourself to get as many slime stacks as you can, and when you get that stacked up enough, you're doing just an amazing amount of damage. You've got your regen bubble. They think they have you killed. You hit the bubble. You get all your health back. At level 20, you're basically unkillable, and you're doing double the damage of anybody else on the team if you're doing it right.
You can have
nerf bat is
never-ending March of the Murlocs.
Yeah, never-ending March of the Murlocs is really, really thought it's not really never-ending, but it does last.
No, it
forever.
Literally is never-ending.
Oh, really?
Literally.
Wow.
I didn't know.
People have tested it out in tests and have just chained it for 10 minutes.
Wow.
That's kind of insane. That's
cool.
super insane. But either way, both of those talents are super, super strong. Merc's back. Yay!
Strong.
Murky first ban.
So, Gizmo, have you played around with our good friend?
Oh, this is my jam.
Lucio?
I have.
And
he feels great. It blows my mind how well the Overwatch heroes fit into Heroes of the Storm and how well they can retain the kit and feel.
But still feel different than playing Overwatch.
So of course, he can auto attack on the move, which is nice. Most heroes can't do that. They built in the wall riding ability to anytime you're near
cool.
any structures that are impassable, you gain 25% movement speed, I believe, and you can wall ride past enemies. There's no body blocking.
Awesome.
And it's going to be hard. He has a really high win percentage right now, according to Hotslogs. That's not official. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens in competitive play once he's allowed in competitive play, because he's pretty weak solo healing up until about 16, and he gets a huge spike. So we'll have to see if he has the solo support potential. I think he may, or if he'll be more of a pseudo support. So
yeah, he also has really low damage output, at least from his gun. It's not very.
All right. Sounds good. So Murky will get nerfed, and Lucio will probably get worked on and down the road sometime, figuring stuff out. What is there's something else going on too, right, Giz?
Yeah. So the reason I cannot be in Orlando this weekend,
which is such a pain.
It is, but we have an amazing event going. This is the bye week in HGC, which is why we planned it for this weekend. But it is our second annual Heroes Charity Brawl event, where myself, along with my other Lords of the Storm co-hosts, people from Core, Into the Nexus, Heroes Power Hour, and Hotscast are getting together. And we're going to play some games on stream. It's going to be on Scott's stream at twitch.tv/frogpants. And we're doing this to raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, cool.
So we get together, we play a whole bunch of weird games, we create rules, do some really interesting stuff. But we crushed our goal last time, which I don't quite remember what that was. I think we ended up raising like $2,400 or $2,700. So we bumped it up to $3,230 for the famous 323 meme in Heroes. But this is still, it's this weekend. We have already raised over $1,000.
Hey, congratulations.
It's awesome.
I'm going to give you a big applause because that's cool.
Yeah, the Heroes community is amazing. And, we weren't even this close to our goal last time, and you guys blew it up during the stream. We know you guys can do it again. Remember, it's for the kids, and the Heroes community is just awesome. We're really excited for this. But it's going to be this Saturday, February 25th at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we're going, I believe, 4 hours this time instead of 3. Right. So even more fun.
All right. Cool.
We need a CTR team next year, Pat. We got to get on that.
Sure.
Can we talk about Heroes in the show? We're a Heroes podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Correction. So Mick is in the chat, and he was part of this for the first Heroes Charity Brawl.
Yeah.
He said $4,800 from the first.
That's nuts.
Which blows my mind even more.
Look at that.
So incredible.
Look at that. Nice to see you, Mick, in the chat. All right. Let's talk about some Hearthstone.
Well met.
And John, you are now awake, which is good. But
Great.
There was actually there was a Q&A today, right? Or no, was it?
Yes.
Just, there was a Q&A.
There was a Q&A today.
And there have been some announcements and other stuff. So what's going on with Hearthstone?
So a lot. Very rarely in Hearthstone do we get announcements that are this big. So I don't normally like to indulge myself when talking about Hearthstone, but this week I'm gonna indulge myself.
Oh boy.
So okay.
Treat yourself.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So 2016 was the year of the Kraken. We saw some great expansions with League of Explorers, One Night in Karazhan, Whispers of the Old Gods, not in that order. And in the introduction of Standard, what it meant was it set a precedent that every year we would be getting a new year, and at the front of that year, we would kind of be getting up front the major changes, mainly ideologically, with the game. And so 2017 will be the year of the Mammoth, most 2017 and part of 2018. And it's kind of a big deal. It's one of the biggest things that we'll hear about, probably the biggest piece of news that we'll hear about till next year when we get the year of the crane or something.
Hey!
And hey, you'd be so happy.
I always like that. Yeah.
So I'm going to give people a quick rundown, but don't worry, I'm not like Gizmo. I won't talk for 10 minutes about it.
Okay.
So. I'm just kidding. Whatever. It was great. So the big changes are we're now going to get 3 expansions of roughly 130 cards per year. That changes because we used to get expansions and then something called adventures, which basically you were guaranteed cards and unlocked those cards by finishing single player content against an AI. Instead, now the expansions will follow presumably will follow the same structure as previous expansions where you earn packs through gold or spending money or through quests, and you open those packs and anything that you get is completely random based on the kind of randomness engine that Hearthstone has in place. But If you remember, the Hearthstone team picked up Dave Kosak, who was the former lead quest designer for World of Warcraft.
Right.
And we will now be having single player content accompanying.
That
was so difficult.
That's easy for you.
Why was that so hard?
I don't know.
Anyways, they will be. I'm not even going to say the word. They will be coming with future expansions. That's just way easier.
So
except for the next one.
So the expansions are going to be what is informing the single player modes, right? Is that how I'm understanding it? So if the
say that again. I missed that.
The expansion will determine the single player content to a certain extent. Is that what I'm hearing?
They've all but confirmed that. Okay. There's no reason to believe that would be otherwise, but they haven't said specifically this will be it.
So it sounds.
We don't know how.
It sounds like the adventure mode will be based off of the expansions or whatever. It's just a way to kind of consolidate that stuff and play around within the expansion.
I actually called this about a little over a year and 2 months ago. I was like, I don't know why we just don't get new cards and always get single player content with it.
Yeah,
because
it makes sense.
Single player content is so great. Why would you limit that just because you are introducing too many cards?
Right.
And it looks like they've kind of just said, yeah, John, you're right. We're going to call this a John expansion.
And now that Kosak's over there, it's going to be great because I think that there'll be a little bit more story stuff, and that's what he's good at, right? I mean, that's what he's been great at for WoW, so why wouldn't he be able to bring the same thing over to Hearthstone? It's weird to think of story in Hearthstone, but I guess it's always kind of been the case.
Yeah, but just having those cool boss battles and like the chess event in Warcraft was iconic, and then the chess event in Hearthstone, they did such a great job with.
Yep.
And being able to say, regardless of the expansion that's coming out, I mean, how great would it have been for Mean Streets of Gadgetzan to get more of an idea of the story going on between the three factions, and how all that worked, and having more single player content just means more single player content. Now, we don't know if this means that we're going to get wings or certain cards at certain times. Probably not. I probably think of it more akin to like Tavern Brawl, in the sense where you just have a new single player adventure for a limited time to hang out with. But that's the first big thing. The second big thing is the Hall of Fame. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but basically there were cards that were either too popular in existing decks or limited future design too much that they have retired them from standard, which is the basic, classic, and the most recent 2 years of expansions. And they've retired ones that would normally fall within that standard, and they've retired them to wild in something called a Hall of Fame. So that's going there. Yeah, it's Ragnaros, Sylvanas, and Azure Drake. And then Conceal, Power Overwhelming, and Ice Lance. Those are the 6 cards that have done that.
So they're getting rid of them from standard, and it's just going to be wild, and that's where it's going to live because it's just too powerful, too weird, too whatever.
Yeah, or it really limits like freeze. Sharku said, Ice Lance? What? It hardly ever sees play now. It's not a super powerful card, but if the Hearthstone team presumably wanted to play more around with freeze,
then it could be really OP.
It basically what it does is for 1 mana it freezes a minion, and if that minion's already frozen, it deals 4 damage. Yep. It's been an activator for a lot of 1-turn kill decks or OTK decks.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where you got to be careful with. It's kind of like charge, but there's still a lot of really cool things they could be doing with freeze that they probably haven't been because of the existence of cards like Ice Lance.
Cool.
I played against a Malagos Ice Mage the other day, and they OTK'd me with Malagos and Ice Lance, and it was zero fun.
Rex.
Yep.
Right. So there's that. We've also got ranked floors, which basically how it is now is if you get to rank 1 and then you get a brain transplant and all of a sudden you suck at Hearthstone, you can fall all the way back to rank 20. Mm-hmm. If you lose enough games and don't win enough games, you can fall all the way back. They've put ranked floors where now you cannot go lower than rank 5, 10, or 15 once you've passed that threshold. So that's going to be really nice. It's going to encourage people to play. The higher you get, it used to be if you play a bad deck, you get severely punished. 2 or 3 stars at rank 5 is 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of playing the game. You don't want to put that up to, I really want to try this cool OTK mage with Iceland's deck. Like, you don't want to do that. Whereas now it's like, I'm at rank 3. I can play around with this deck, and worst case scenario, I lose 6, 7 stars.
Then I go back to 5. Yeah.
Right. And then once you're at 5, you can't go any lower. So that's really great. I'm a really big fan of that.
Love this.
And then last but not least, we do have a new rogue hero coming when all of this stuff kind of transfers over with my Shadow Song.
Cool.
And she's a new rogue hero. So, hey, and all you have to do is win 10 games in standard, ranked, or standard casual mode, and you will unlock Shadow Song.
Cool.
So, pretty cool. That's all the stuff.
Yeah,
awesome.
I will say, I am super excited for the ranked floors. I think this may actually get me back into trying to climb the ladder.
Me too.
Like every other month or so. Especially one of my co-hosts, Multizord, is huge into Hearthstone. And he's had a few months where he's really tried pushing Legendary. Yeah. He's a fantastic player, but time has been his big constraint. And he consistently gets down to 5, but then has a real bad streak where he'll go back to 8 or 9, and he doesn't have that time to crawl back up. So this is really fantastic, and I'm excited for it to be implemented.
Cool. Hey, real quick, let's talk a little bit about Overwatch.
Now we're cooking with gas.
All right, Johnny.
Sorry, guys.
No, there's a couple of things for Overwatch, right?
Yeah, John, come on.
One big thing.
I got you. I know. The big thing is season 3 ended today. So
that wasn't it.
Oh, no? Oh,
no.
All right.
No?
Oh, well, we'll go on to the next one then.
Yep.
Addition by subtraction.
I love the tension.
Sure.
He's trying
Anyways, during the Hearthstone Q&A today.
Yeah.
And by the way, we had a Hearthstone Q&A today.
Yeah.
And it was great. I love hearing from the Hearthstone devs. They talked about nothing. Nothing new. So I appreciate the communication, and I would prefer this. The feedback I would give them is give us a little bit more of something that you didn't introduce in a blog post 4 days ago. Anyways, smack dab during the middle of this developer Q&A with Hearthstone that I was live tweeting from Twitter. The Overwatch team, specifically the European Overwatch Twitter, tweeted out a new blog post about a young Effie Oladelli. I promise you, I've read this 100 times and have not practiced saying it out loud once.
That's all right.
Yeah.
You know how that is, right? You've said something in your head a million times, then you have to actually say it with real words, and you butcher it.
Yep.
I just did that. But it's
pretty well. Oladelli? Effie Oladelli.
Yeah. Basically, the blog is, and we've seen this Atlas News Network that comes with these kind of cool blogs, and even then, not all of them have been answered yet. Just giving you insight more into, at the surface level, the lore and what's going on in the world. And then, of course, deep into like the Sombra ARG, where people were taking specific phrases and typing them into key generators and getting hints to websites and passwords to emails that were then used to hack. It's amazing what they've done. I don't think they've done anything quite as robust with this. talking about this young 11-year-old AI and robotics prodigy who is basically it's like a news article.
And there's a lot of with her, yeah.
There's a lot of speculation. I'm going to spoil a couple things. She is not going to be the actual new hero.
Yeah, we're not going to shoot an 11-year-old.
You cannot shoot an 11-year-old in a T for teen video game.
Yeah.
So just get that off the table.
Yeah.
It's true. It's a panda. It's an 11-year-old panda. It's different. That's
different when it's you can oh my god. Oh my god.
Anyways,
let's not go
I'm just saying, send your complaints to Pat Crane at converttoraid.com.
I said nothing.
Anyways, so it's not going to be that. There's some people who think that she's going to be some sort of a controller, kind of like Gizmo, Shark. Don't freak out when I say this, but Abathur. In Heroes, where I believe Abathur, he like hides somewhere, like a little whiny girl.
He just pays the whole game,
and then he controls things in the thing. Yeah. So like this controller type hero. I don't think that they're even going to do that. I think that this is a alternate timeline, or maybe something from a while ago. And one of her inventions. So she's a robotics and AI pioneer. And maybe the next hero is going to be something of her creation, but that is totally sentient. We haven't seen a new Omnic be introduced. I think Zenyatta and Bastion, I believe, are the only ones. And even then, like Zenyatta is an Omnic. Bastion, I don't know if he's an Omnic or a robot with AI. Yeah. So there's a lot of...
I don't know if anybody really... I mean, sure, I know that there are lore nerds out there for every game, and especially for Overwatch. I know that there are several, but I don't think when you're actually playing the game, you really consider it, do you? I don't know. Is it?
I do.
You're playing Bastion and you're like going,
Omnics. I'll play a robot. I will not play an Omnic.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing. I like the idea of a new robot and maybe a tanky robot, because we've got two new characters already. We got a healer in Ana. We've got, is she considered damage?
Offense with Sombra.
With Sombra.
Yep.
And we don't have a new tank hero yet. We don't have a new defense hero.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure she's going to be tied to one of those. I like the idea of it being an invention of hers, because I don't think that they would. I don't think they would give you the new hero in the tease. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think that they would say this is the new hero. I mean, it's possible, because especially if this takes place a few years before the game, actually, like if this is supposed to be an article from the past, you know what I mean?
They're gonna tease it like Sombra. They're gonna tease it like Sombra. That's
right. It's this idea. They're leading us to what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Rather than just telling us through the tease. So I don't know. I think that's my guess.
Right.
There's a few things that have been kind of going on. If you follow Overwatch relatively closely, you know that Doomfist has kind of been at the forefront of the community's mind as the next hero. Doomfist was introduced in the original teaser Pixar trailer, where Winston and Tracer are protecting Doomfist's gauntlet. It's also what you escort on Numbani, which is where what's
where she's
name?
From.
Yeah, Adele. I want to call her Adele every time.
Effie.
Like Adele. Effie.
Yeah.
It's where Effie is from. So there's some stuff there. There's some data mine stuff on the PTR about glove, the payload glove.
She's
thing
Doomfist.
Is shattered. So she's not Doomfist.
No, Terry Crews is Doomfist. We all know this.
Yes.
Right. So Terry Crews is Doomfist. Doomfist is presumably a tank to Sharku's thing. So they're trying to draw lines between Effie and Doomfist. Some people are saying, like, again, not alternate timeline, but this is from the past. Doomfist is Effie's father. There's some people who are saying, hey, this might be what it is. And I've seen some crazy, stupid conspiracy theories, like Effie dies in a airplane accident because of an AI flying the airplane. And then he, is determined to avenge himself and his daughter against AI, which eventually birthed the Omnics, which I think is just, I think it's stupid. We'll find out in a couple weeks if it's true and stupid or just stupid. And so like there's some stuff like that. In the end, I think that Doomfist is just totally unrelated to that. They've teased multiple characters at a time in Overwatch before. They can do it again. Doomfist is 25. Jeff Kaplan said on the Overwatch forums that number 24, the 24th hero, is not who you think it is, who everyone thought has been Doomfist. So we know 24 isn't Doomfist unless you just lied to us, which, Jeff Kaplan could do that. It's actually, everyone still love him.
It's actually Terry Crews doing robot voices like Bastion. But
here's the thing, though. Terry Crews doesn't voice Doomfist. Doomfist voices Terry Crews.
Probably. That's probably true. All right.
It's like it's going to be the new era of Chuck Norris jokes.
That'll be awesome, though. Just seeing the pictures of him at Blizzard, I'm like going, yeah. Everybody just jumped to him being Doomfist, and it's great. Okay, we need to move on. I know we're running. I know we're running long. We're running real long. So let's get to some eSports.
Yeah, baby.
There we go. So let's maybe start with Heroes of the Storm. Gizmo, what's going on for eSports stuff? You were saying that it's an off week this week, right?
Yes. So yeah, we'll give John a little bit of a breather here. So the HGC has been going on. This week is the bye week, and that is because the next week, March 3rd through 5th, is going to be the first Western Clash, which is the top 3 EU teams, the top 3 NA teams, and then a Latin American team and a team from Australia and New Zealand are going to face off to kind of, test their mettle against one another. Cool. This is going to take place in Katowice, Poland. The prize pool, first place 30,000, second place 20,000, and third place 15,000. And your teams will be from Europe, Misfits, Fnatic,
Europe, or Europe. I don't know.
Europe. Misfits, Fnatic, Dignitas, North America, Tempo Storm, Team 8, Gale Force Esports, and Latin America will be Infamous. And from New Zealand here, Nomia.
Are you sure about that?
No.
You're okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's pronunciation. I assume it's Nomia.
All right.
I think it's Nomia. But it's going to be really nice because there have been a lot of kind of change-ups in the top of the regions here. Definitely from what I was expecting, wasn't expecting to see Team 8 up in the top for North America.
Yeah.
So this is the first time these regions will face each other since BlizzCon. So it'll be, at BlizzCon, of course, Europe came out on top. We'll see if North America has improved their game and can take this one away from Europe.
All right, cool. And Johnny, let's talk a little bit about what's happening in esports for Overwatch and Hearthstone.
Unlike the other two, I promise I'll make this one quick. Hearthstone NA Winter Playoffs just finished. Dr. Jikaninki, I did practice that one. Didn't practice Effie. Practice that one. Wins the NA Winter Playoffs.
Yay!
And then him, Docpone, Teray, and Frozen will be going to the Winter Championship Series in the Bahamas.
Yay!
The Bahamas.
I know.
The Bahamas.
The wonderful Bahamas. Amazing. The wonderful Bahamas.
It's an all-inclusive resort. No joke. All I needed was to purchase airfare, and I could have possibly been there.
Oh.
And I'm not going to be able to make it. It's my last semester in college. Can't really go, no, I'm going to the Bahamas to watch a children's card game. Doesn't fly well.
No.
So, but that will be going on. Next weekend, we have the APAC Winter Playoffs, and the top 4 there will also go to the Bahamas. And I believe China is after that. So we've got that.
Cool.
You want me to go to Overwatch?
Sure.
Great. In Overwatch, we've got the Carbon series going on, which is an online tournament, but the casters are actually here in Denver, which is pretty cool. ZP and Hexagrams are 2 Overwatch casters, and they're at the Carbon Entertainment headquarters studios casting that, and it's been great. Some of the biggest North American teams in Overwatch have been competing there, and if you're not a big North American team, unless you're Envious or Cloud9, but you are a big Overwatch team, you're playing at Overwatch Apex Season 2 in Korea, and that is what is also going on every Tuesday and Friday at 2 a.m. Pacific time. So you're probably going to catch the VODs, but the biggest names in Hearthstone right now are there. And it's really
Overwatch?
interesting. We're in Overwatch.
Yep.
And we are Hearthstone. Yeah, I do. I talk about Hearthstone and Overwatch quite a bit.
It's fine.
I did it last week with Met, where I used the Payload's email. It's just a giant blur, Pat. Sometimes
I totally get it.
But it's really great, and things are starting to cook up. Mike Morheim stirred the pot a little bit with Overwatch League speculation at the last earning calls, saying that they're going to be announcing team owners soon. So
that's awesome.
I'm
wait for that.
So
I
freaking
cannot
excited
wait for
for
that.
Overwatch League.
That is going to be so great.
I have 2 Overwatch League t-shirts. They're the exact same t-shirts. I just love the logo and the shirts. The actual physical fit of the shirt's great. So much that I bought 2.
Oh, look at that.
So that's going on too.
All right, cool. I think that does it for the show part of the show. And now we will do the end part of the show where I do this. I'll hit this music here, and we'll talk about what's going on in our worlds and how people can get a hold of us. And Sharku, first up, doing anything fun, cool, something that people can be a part of?
I do all the fun, cool things that people can always be a part of. I actually got a little thing to push. It's the same time as the same day as the charity ball, not the same time. I've got some friends of mine from Geekly Incorporated. They do some podcasts. If you guys have ever heard of Drunkards and Dragons, that's a friend of mine from college that started that whole thing. So we podcast nerd out on each other. But anyway, his community is doing a Heroes tournament that Adults with Jobs is a part of. So we're really excited about that, and that's going to take place 7:30 Central Time. So I think some of the charity brawl will still be going on, but definitely go to the charity brawl first.
On Saturday?
That's Saturday the 25th, yeah.
Okay.
So if anybody's interested in watching that, that'll be twitch.tv/geeklyinc. So do that. But then, just raiding, doing some stuff. I don't know. I'll turn my stream on sometimes, maybe. I don't know. I need to get better at that. We'll do some more stuff in the future. Life's hard right now, but...
All right.
Life is hard.
All right. Sounds good. Gizmo, what do you got cooking?
Yes, so again, just the Heroes Charity Brawl. Make sure you guys check that out. We'd love to see you there. Lords of the Storm, my Heroes of the Storm podcast, will be on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central. And we will be having a guest on the show, Mr. Bo Schwartz from CORE.
Bo's cool. Sweet. Bo's a cool dude. Awesome. Johnny, what's going on with you?
We've got the Payload on Thursday nights and Met on Sunday nights, 7 p.m. Pacific time at twitch.tv/BlizzPro. So check those out if you like Overwatch or Hearthstone, respectively. As for me, you can find me at Everything Kicked Tripod, including twitch.tv/KickedTripod, where I will be right after the show. I've only got a few months left, probably, of just being able to say I'm a full-time podcaster and streamer.
Yeah.
Emphasis on the podcasting. So I'm trying to just milk as much of that as possible and get as much out of the last couple months with just hanging out with friends and fans. And so twitch.tv/KickedTripod is where you'll be able to find me a lot over the next couple months.
Sounds groovy. And I'm going to, now that the music is over, I'm just going to play this. I'll just do that. And I'll just say, hey, if you guys are out in the Orlando area this weekend, on Saturday in particular, there is that meetup that I'm going to be doing at the Cloak and, what is it? The
Cloak and Blaster?
Cloak and Blaster.
Blaster.
In in Orlando, starting at 5 p.m. on Saturday. So feel free to join me, or you could join my Twitter and figure out what's going on at Pat Crane over there. Okay, now getting into the rest of it. All right, now you can join Convert to Raid for the conversations, right? You can anytime you want to just join us for a conversation. You can email us, converttoraid@gmail.com. You can call and leave comments and questions on our raid line, 612-787-RAID. That's 612-787-7243. You can follow us on Twitter at converttoraid. And you can join the Bazubu Guabo Nation by heading over to converttoraid.com, where we have all the show downloads, the forums, the videos, the audios, and the guild stuff and more, all over at converttoraid.com. We're also on iTunes, on the Tubes of You, and all around the internets. Just do a search for internet and you will find Convert to Raid. Nope. Convert to Raid Presents is produced and distributed by Signals Media. Make sure to check out all of our friends, please do, at the Signals Media All-Star Network at signalsmedia.com. That is going to be it for the show. Thank you, fellas, for joining us as always. Thank you guys out there, wherever you are, for coming along on this wonderful ride. We hope that you've had a great time, and we will see you next week, I believe, right here at Convert to Raid. So until then, bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.